to draw out a table like this. So we write X, and then we write Y. X is our input. What is Y called? The output, yeah. So this is input and output. And let's say we're given this table. In order to find the slope from the table, we need to just use our formula. So we need to find the difference between two y values and then divide that by the difference between two corresponding x values. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and equals, I'm going to pick -3 and 3 as my two y values. So in my numerator, I write -3 minus 3. What do I put in my denominator? What do I put in my denominator? What are the corresponding x values? Yeah, 4 and 1. And they need to go in this order. They need to go, it has to be 4 first and then 1. Because first I wrote -3 minus 3. Okay? So 4 minus 1. Now what's -3 minus 3? -6. And what's 4 minus 1? 3. Remember, slope has to be written in the simplest form. How do I simplify this? Huh? Yeah, -2. We just divide it. -6 divided by 3 is -2. So -2 is my slope. This is how we find the slope from a table. Any questions on that? Looks good? Okay. So from 2 points is going to be it's really similar. Except for that, and just think, this table is a different way of writing ordered pairs. So this pair right here, 0, 5, could also just be written like this. So this one is 1, 3. So finding the slope from 2 points is really just kind of similar steps as this. So let's use these 2 points. We have 2, 4, and 4, 7. Again, so my slope is equal to the difference between my y values. So someone tell me what that would look like. 7 minus 4 over the difference between my x values. So what do I put in the bottom? Someone else. Heather? Yeah, 4 minus 2. Do you all see where those numbers are coming from? Yeah? Okay. So in the numerator, what's 7 minus 4? 3. There you go. And in the denominator, 4 minus 2? 2. Is this in simplest form? Yeah. Yeah, it is. 3 over 2. So what's my rise and what's my run? Yeah. What about over here? What was my rise? Yeah, and what's my run? 1. Okay. All right, now let's take a look at a graph. So what I want you to do is draw a coordinate plane. So draw your y-axis and your x-axis. It doesn't have to be super perfect. but this is our y and our x. And then let's draw 5 hash marks down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll do 5 about the same like spacing along the y-axis, the negative part of the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to draw a point right here. What is the ordered pair of this point? What are the coordinates? What's the x coordinate of this point? 2. And what's the y coordinate? 0. So what's the ordered pair? 2, 0. 2, 0. X goes first. And then what about right here? What would the ordered pair be there? What's the x coordinate? 0. What's the y coordinate? Yeah, so what's the ordered pair? What comes first? 0. And then negative 2. Okay. And now I'm going to draw a line in between. And I'm going to extend it in either direction. So now what I'm looking for is the slope from this line. Again, my formula for slope is n equals y2 minus y1, the change in y, over the change in x. Another way to write this is we can use, so this is a Greek letter delta, like a little triangle. So that means the change in y over the change in x. The change in y is my vertical or horizontal change? Vertical, up and down. So what we do is we take a look at these 2 points on the line and we count out how much vertically do we need to change to go from one point to the other. So what is this vertical change here? What does that come out to be? How did you get 3? So we start here and then count up 1 and then 2. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then what about horizontally? Huh? 2. Yeah. So my change in y, my vertical change is going to be 2. This piece right here. And then my change in x, my horizontal change, oops, I didn't mean to write that, should be 2. So change in y over change in x. And we draw this little triangle. Again, the vertical piece is our change in y. Horizontal piece is our change in x. And then is 2 over 2 in its most simplest form? No. What do we need to do? 1. Yeah, it's 1. So my slope is 1. So what's my rise? 1. What's my run? 1. Perfect. All right. Now from an equation, so different equations, different forms of equations are going to require us to do different things, or to look in different places. So let's first take a look at slope-intercept form. Can someone tell me what the equation is, what the formula is for slope-intercept? Yeah. Yeah, it's y equals mx plus b. We're going to go over these a little bit more later this week. What's the slope here? What letter is slope? M. M is the slope. So if I had the formula y equals 3x plus 2, what's my slope? 3. It's just that number right before the x. M equals 3. Now we've got point slope form. Can anyone remember the formula for that? No? It's a tricky one. Y equals y1 plus m times x minus x1. And what's my slope here? What letter stands for slope? Yeah, m. M again. So if I have the formula y equals 3 plus 4 times x minus 5, what is my slope? 4. 4. Yeah, it's this number right before the x's. Okay, so we just covered slope-intercept and point slope form, how to identify the slope from these equations. Now we're going to look at standard form. Can anyone remember the formula for standard form? Okay, it's ax plus by equals c. And what's the slope here? Y. No.
It doesn't exist.
Well, the slope does exist, but it doesn't show up in like an easy way like it did with these. What we have to do in order to just find the slope is we have to rearrange this so that it's back in slope-intercept form. So let me show you this. You can copy this down. So I want to get my y all by itself, just like it is in slope-intercept form. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this ax. I'm going to move it over to the other side. If I want to move this over to the other side, I need to subtract it. So I subtract ax, which means I also have to subtract ax over here. And now I'm left with by equals negative ax plus c. Now, what do I need to do to get y by itself now? Not subtract. Huh? Divide. Because I'm multiplying right here, so to undo the multiplication, I divide by b, divide this whole side by b. And then what I'm left with is, let me zoom out. No. Okay, I'm going to write it over here then. It's like, what I'm left with is y equals negative a over b x, a over b x plus c over b. So now, can you see how this is back in slope-intercept form? So what letters are going to be my slope? Negative a over b. That's my slope. Okay. Negative a over b. Okay, so I'm going to give you one more formula. So that we've got 8x plus 5y equals 1,000. This is written in standard form. What is my a here? 8. What's my b? 5. What's my c? 1,000. What's my slope? Yeah. It's going to be negative a over b. So what did you tell me A was?
Okay.
Not 8x,
Negative
just
8.
8. Just 8. See how here we have A is the number being multiplied by x. So over here it's going to just be 8. So negative 8 over, what's B? What's B? 5. So my slope here is negative 8 over 5.